My name is Cyril Lapinte, and I'm an IT engineer working in the tokenization. And I was very interested here that we look at AI can disrupt all type of work, from the developer job to the marketing and content generation, but as well, why not tokenization? So here we're trying to tokenize completely using an expert which is called ChatGPT. So yes, yesterday was about tokenization. Sorry, I'm coming back with tokenization, but this time we're going to try to do automated and autonomous. So we tokenize without human intervention, or we'll try. Um, this is so maybe I should present myself as Reto said. So I'm a Web3 builder. I'm part of this small builder bubble that Mark mentioned, and I'm also a community leader, which was maybe not the same bubble, but can work anyway. And here, three kind of community I'm behind. So first is a C layer, compliance layer, which is a tokenization framework. Then blockchain dev meetup. It's a Geneva-based community. We address developers, blockchain developer problems, but we are as inclusive as possible, because between two developers, one is working on Bitcoin, the other one on Ethereum, they can't talk to one another if you don't use the 5 years old layman term. And finally, there is this DeFi Swiss community, which is a more like kind of a builder community. It's very inclusive as well. We focus our businesses, our communities, our individuals can work together, collaborate to create this Swiss community and Swiss network effects. Now I have a company which is called Openfiz, which is a Web3 IT partner. What we do is we do advisory, because most of the company we work with, we focus on B2B. Most of the company we work with have no knowledge of Web3 tokenization. They're not all digitalized business, by the way. We can do workshop, white paper, proof of concept, and up to the final platform and final product. I would say that our focus is targeting SMEs, tokenization for SMEs, for them to improve the capital and liquidity needs without going through the banks, obviously. And kind of this is what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you my secret sauce today. Well, kind of. ChatGPT will try to do it for me. And we'll see where it goes. And yes, AI disruption is coming. Everyone is impacted. So why not the one on the most innovative parts, most innovative jobs, the entrepreneur that we are, in particular those who work in tokenization. So few tools that Mark already mentioned. ChatGPT, which is a conversational chatbot. I think it's a very good entry point to artificial intelligence, because it can drive you to all the other tools as well. Then you have text to image. So you say what kind of image you want, and you have tools like Midjourney or DALI. DALI using GPT, so the same algorithm behind than ChatGPT, and you can create amazing, fantastic Obama, Trump, and maybe quickly I can show you some Biden one. So this is President Joe Biden blowing weather balloon. I don't want to go into politics here. And last one, the one I want to show you as well. So there are many tools right now, and it's completely new field with a lot of new tools every day. So we're going to show with Piggy how you can, in like 10 seconds, create web content. Yes, we can add whatever you want. So let's go to the use case. Yes, this is an experiment. Use it at your own peril. This is not an investment advice, like the previous speaker mentioned. Here is not even whatever advice you want, just for fun. So what does it mean tokenizing equities? Well, let's ask ChatGPT. So what you do, you take a prompt, you take a new chat. So maybe I need to put the mic somewhere. Can I do new chats? So I'm not using exactly the vanilla ChatGPT. I have a plugin here, which is called IPRM, which allow you to help you generate prompts. Because the whole science behind artificial intelligence, it's called prompt engineering. So it's even has its own term. It's how you ask the right question to the artificial intelligence. So now if I'm asking ChatGPT, so is this good enough for the fonts? Seems okay. So we have no knowledge right now what's equity tokenization. We saw it in the blog or on the media, and they say, oh, this is a new cool, fantastic thing to do. So ChatGPT explained to us what we're going to do. We have no expertise. So yes, so it's something about stock and shares into digital tokens stored in the blockchain. This allows fractional ownership. One of the speakers mentioned fractional ownership yesterday, or maybe which means that multiple individuals can own a portion of a single asset. The token can be traded, transferred easily and securely without the need for intermediaries such as brokers or custodians. And equity tokenization can offer benefits such as increased liquidity, lower transaction costs, and access to a broader range of investors. That seems pretty cool. But how do you do that? Seems great, but seems quite complicated. So do you do it? And now we have the steps. So I'm completely disrupting my business because I tell you how to do what I'm doing and you won't have to pay me. You just ask ChatGPT to do it. So very important, you have the legal and regulatory compliance part. You have asset valuation, you have token creation, then the token offering, which is the crowd sale, and then very important, the secondary market trading. So if you don't think of the secondary markets, your token is not going to be liquid, is not going to be useful, because you will have a token that you can't transfer to anyone. So overall, the process of equity tokenization requires expertise in blockchain technology, legal and regulatory compliance, and financial markets. It is typically carried out by specialized firms that have experience in tokenization and security offering. How? ChatGPT is not that crazy. It suggests that you go through experts. So that's pretty cool. So now we have a global idea of what we try to achieve. So let's go to the next step. So I said that we're going to tokenize an equity, but I didn't mention which businesses. So we are just going to try to create a businesses, or at least imagine a businesses like in a few seconds. So we can even ask ChatGPT to provide us business idea. So maybe, so I want to involve you into this this exercise because you might think it could be scripted on my side and everything seems like it's real time, but I just prepared everything. So I want you to provide some randomness. Do you have an idea of the business you would like to do? Chocolates, cheese, watch, any idea? Health. Do you have other? Sorry?
Biohack.
Biohack.
Biohack your health. That will be interesting. Biohack your health.
So 4, I'm using the free version of ChatGPT, so the 4 is only available to the paid access. But still, this is from the version 14 from March 2023, so it's quite recent still. So we say biohack and health. Yes. So ChatGPT is quite good at content generation. So it's very interesting. It's good. I give you step for something, and it also no, it's looking for. It needs some time. You ask him a very complex subject, so he has to deep down all the internet.
That's not bad, huh? So
We all disrupted here. Be careful. What do you mean? What do you mean by hallucinates?
Sometimes it comes up with stuff that's just completely.
Yeah, and the very difficult thing is that as human we detect liars and lies because liars are not specific. They're always very general. They don't try to provide too much data. The very danger is that ChatGPT is very good at giving detail and specific nonsense.
I will cover something in my speech about synthetic data, that these algorithms come up with their own reality, with their own synthetic data. And I will give an example of an industrial equipment company who wants to roll out a global pricing strategy for their equipment that moves 1 billion people every day. So synthetic data is a big issue, and that's why it comes up with things that are not useful.
Absolutely. So you have different. We'll let you go deeper. But yeah, synthetic data can also be AI-generated data, which is fed into the AI, which self-generate new contents and can be very dangerous.
Also, what's quite interesting, I have the GPT-4 now here on my phone, and I asked it exactly the same question, and there are already some differences. GPT-4 is much more specific in providing a business model. Like yours, as you can read it, it provided the business subscription model. Like now I don't see it anymore.
okay, it's fine.
Yeah, here.
Also, it's a good hint that probably with every version, the whole bunch is different, I guess.
Yeah.
The very first version was data until 2021, other?
It's still the case.
And now it already.
No, it's still 2021 data.
21, okay.
And also now with 4, it suggests me a name, OptiU, key components, comprehensive health assessment, personalized health plan, biohacking tools, virtual coaching, an online community, ongoing monitoring adjustments, educational content, all part of the business model. And it elaborates on it, of course. It's quite interesting to see the difference. Yeah.
So,
Great. Thank you for the information. We just continue your speech.
So
okay.
the ChatGPT is very good also at simplifying concepts. So yeah, I'm completely dumb. I'm not a good entrepreneur, and I have no idea what's biohack mean or could whatever. So I'm just asking to simplify it for me. He's very good at that. Well, I didn't read at all what we were talking about. I'm just typing randomly. Okay, so let's say it's involved partnering with a genetic testing company, analyze customers' data. This looks like a bit like Terranos, but so no worries. Okay, so it's about genetic and okay, perfect. So now we can ask Piggy to generate a content, web content for us. So let's try magic. So we could ask him a prompt, a quiz. We can start with the prompts. I will try the quiz just after that. Tonight is generating the content. Do it for Piggy Magic is doing more for mobile kind of content. But it can be really good to start within like a few seconds after you have your generated entrepreneur idea, and you get something like that. So if you want to scan it and have it on your mobile, you can as well do it. So it generated the QR code immediately. So if you want, you can steal this business idea. I won't implement, I won't deliver it. This is a very good question. I'm pretty sure, I didn't mention before when you asked your previous question, because I'm pretty sure you're going to address that.
Good question for the panel.
Yeah. So we can just have a quick look if you have your QR codes. So yes, it provides some content, some images, and it tells you something about the topic. And yeah, this is very fast. It's automated generation, so very efficient to start your business with, to try to get some investors, to onboard some investors. And then you have Midjourney, so Mark already talked about it. So this is a DevChain Discord server, and we have a Midjourney bot already there. So we could try to have some image here generated if you want. So we are still, let's keep the biohacking thing. So what could be your logo or brand image? Do you want to suggest some idea?
Do a
For
briefing of a logo.
What we're trying to do.
Logo. Just a briefing. How do you want to see the
Oh,
logo?
we can.
Muscular body, perfect brain, Einstein and Schwarzenegger in one person.
So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help us get the right keywords. So let me type in as you repeat it.
Combination of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Einstein.
That was the hardest part. Sorry.
No worries. So pretty cool. We could use it. That's a founder of a company. Oh, it's not yet finished. Oh, it's getting better now. It almost looked like a Brad Pitt somehow. No? Yeah. I agree. So that's the founder of the company. Well, let's say that's the board of the company. So you have the CEO, then you have the main investors and whoever you want to add. So pretty cool. So let's move forward. Now we have the business, we have the founders, we have all the team. Let's write the smart contract, because token is about smart contract. And just before we go in the smart contract, I'm going to show you some examples about what can ChatGPT do. So the list is quite long, but you can see it can do summarize for a second grader. It can do some Python programming. So the SQL Translate is quite funny, because you can ask him to have different personality. You can ask him to be sarcastic. You can have a lot of humor, but you can also ask him to be a SQL server. You say, "Oh, now you behave like a SQL server," and it will not respond to English, German, or whatever. It will only respond to SQL commands. So this is quite funny. You can adopt a software kind of behavior. I've tried. So I don't know if there is some remaining of the Zusa funny experiments. So I tried to have some kind of funny experiments, and I asked him to act like a Ethereum node. So I was asking him, oh, what's the block number? How much Ether I do have on my account? And he was answering just like a normal Ethereum node will do. So, hope it's not breaking. Okay, strange, they're reloading. We'll see if I can show you. At least I've shown you the general idea that there's a lot of commands, a lot of things you can do. You can generate ads, fix bug in the code. This is one is quite funny. You can have a product name generator. Oh, we didn't ask ChatGPT for our company name. That's something we could do. I'm not going to do everything because the time is kind of limited. But we can you have a general idea of all the things it can do. It can explain to you the codes. So we can copy paste the code and you ask him to explain what the code does. You can do interview question, restaurant review. So yeah, that's give you a quite a broad overview of what it does. So let's try to build the tokens. So let's go back. So something very interesting as well is that it's a conversational artificial intelligence. So it means that it can track and follow the conversation. So right now, so just one, that's not exactly the one we were at, but that was the one I was just testing before the event. And let's use this one. It's about, as I said, tokenization. So I'm going to ask him to provide us the smart contracts. So I'll just ask him to provide a smart contract for the token. Of course. Or let's I don't know. I didn't ask for Solidity. Let's see what it does. I'm pretty sure he's going to do Solidity, but let's be yeah, you see? But that's pragma. Well, if he can do entrepreneurs, what he could do developers. So what he's doing, oh, it looks like an ERC20. He didn't say it's an ERC20, but I recognize it's writing right now ERC20. So you have all those balance, allowance, which is specific to the ERC20. It just doesn't say it's a ERC20. And it's a security token. It's completely blowing my business.
Can we ask it to audit the code? Can we try to ask it to audit?
No, we could ask. The problem is depending what you would expect from an audit.
Okay, start with the most vulnerable vectors.
So he could do it, he will do it, he will tell you he has done it, but I would not accept the response of ChatGPT as a reliable definition. But we could do it. So this is ERC20, so there's no point of auditing the standards ERC20 thing. I'm sufficiently fluent in Solidity and ERC20, so I can tell you there's no big mistake. The funny thing is when we do just after the crowd sale contracts, that's why it's funny, because you have Ethers, you have crypto in it, and usually it fails. It asks you to pay twice.
Can it make a call to, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, as an answer to your question, I think I read this night that GPT-4 version already found vulnerabilities in the Ethereum protocol. And they then proposed already solutions for that. I sent you that link.
So yeah, I'm not aware yet of this information. So when a speaker of a topic gets already completely challenged by the artificial intelligence itself, then there's a trouble for everyone else.
Deploy through remix? Call, remix, deploy.
No, he won't do it because it's not connected to internet. But I could take it, copy paste into the remix. I'm not going to do that because it takes time, but that would work in remix. So now we want to sell it. So if you remember, I've been quick there, but on the steps, it's a bit different. Now it's a conduct the token sell. So basically, when you tokenize things, once you created the token, you want to sell it. So to sell it, you need a smart contract, a crowd sell. You could go through exchanges, but the whole idea of token is to have decentralization. So you rather want to go through a crowd sell contract.
Quick question. Ask it, would you only mint tokens upon sale, or would you mint the entire lot of tokens? What
do you want? We're writing the crowd sell contract, so what do you want?
To only mint the number of tokens
but
when a sale is made.
You want to mint them as you sell them?
Yes.
Or you want to pre-mint them before the sale?
I want to mint upon sale, not pre-mint.
It will do. Good question. And I'm adding as well that I don't want to pay in Ether, I want to pay with DAI. It's an equity, so that's an interesting point. Equities, they're real world assets, so you not necessarily want to use a speculative asset to pay with or to convert with. You rather want to go with stablecoin. Make, from a legal point of view, more sense, and it's more easy to build the legal framework that goes with the shares, the issuance of the shares, primary markets. So can you write the crowd sell contracts where tokens are minted when sold, and investors can buy with DAI. The ERC20 thing is just a copy paste, so quite trivial. This is fucking new level. This is. So now we're gonna audit as human. I'm gonna audit it with you as human because I don't trust him for that kind of work.
Dude, you're out of business.
No, I'm gonna show you why now. So maybe I'm lucky. But all the time I've done it before, it was good at copy pasting on ERC20 because it's so standard now that almost no mistakes. But here that's where he makes mistakes. Sorry? I sent you the link, but it popped up on yours. Okay, but all good. So is doing even imports. This is very interesting. So what I import is when you write a smart contract, you depend from other codes. And the first one is my security token. You know what's my security token? It's a token we created previously in the conversation. So he know and he remember it and he developed the crowd sell from previous work we did in the conversation. And we didn't ask him to do it. He just understood he has to do it. And also interesting, he had the interface of ERC20. Why does he have the interface of the ERC20? Because we'll have to pay with DAI. So he understood that the DAI is an ERC20 and that he needs to support payment with ERC20 tokens. So the constructor, you define all the dependency, the DAI token, which is an ERC20, he knew it, the price, and the base token you're going to sell. Oh, something else so very interesting. So you know that a crowd sell is a permission smart contract. So that this crowd sell will have an owner, will have an admin to manage the sell. But that's not totally trivial for beginner developers, those ideas. They're pretty much have to do it when you know what you're doing, but yeah. So now so when you develop a smart contract function, what you do is you do requires. It means you assess invariants in programmation. When you do safety programming, just like in mathematics, you want to assess invariants because you want to challenge the parameters and you want to ensure that they won't break the system.
Can we ask one more question?
I'm finishing the crowd sell contract and then we'll follow. And so what it does, it checks that there is an authorization to transfer ERC20. So if you're not familiar with ERC20, when you do ERC20 transfer, it means you pre-approved smart contract to transfer your own token on your wallet. So it checks that the allowance is sufficient for the price. And you see there's even this message. This is crazy. And then it transfers the token. So it transfers the token, the exact amount of token for the number of token you ask. Then what it does, it checks the balance, and it checks that you have received, so token, that's the new token, that's the security token. So it checks you have, what did it do that? Why, oh no, the address of this is a crowd sale contract. This is a crowd sale contract. So it's checking that the crowd sale contract has enough tokens. So it didn't mint them. Yeah, suppose it was pre-minted. Then we have an issue. Sorry? No. The code said that he's expecting that there is pre-minting token within the crowd sale contract already. That's what he's saying. So he failed here. So you see, you have to read the contract and understand what you're doing, because otherwise you miss this detail and you have no guarantee. And then it transfers the security token to the message sender. It increases the variable. It's good. He has a counter of sold token, so you can easily track during the sale. And it emits an event, which is very good for indexing on the DApp and things like that. So that's a buy tokens function. And then he has N crowd sale. What does the N crowd sale does? It's sending back the DAI and the unsold security back to the admin. So pretty nice. In terms of security, that's not the way I would do it. I would never put in the crowd sale tokens. I would rather put them in a vault, a secure vault, which is much more simpler, much more secure, which is has a multi-sig behind those kind of things. So it's good to understand, it's good to play with, but that's not production grade. I would not consider production grade. So it doesn't change. A free version of ChatGPT, just slower, but it has the same feature. Something very interesting, that's what I explained to you, it can do it as well. And you could ask him to do it for like a 5 years old, and it would simplify all the concept and everything.
What is the best way for a successful token sale?
You want to ask? I'm
Yes.
not going to answer business
to-
question
to
because that's
ask
my
him.
business, and I want to keep some secrets. But I'm very happy to ask what ChatGPT say about it. So,
What is the best way for a successful token sale? What is the best method? Yeah.
could you define best token sale? The most money raised,
Yes.
or the
The
most
highest possible money raised.
He's an expert. It depends. Just like lawyers and consultants, it depends.
Develop a compelling pitch.
You should, before asking the question, you should have told him that he will have obviously some tokens reserved. When you deal with consultants, think of giving some tokens to the consultants, so you ensure incentives are aligned. This for later when we do business. So now you get it. You don't need me anymore.
What is the IQ of this machine?
Zero.
What is the IQ of ChatGPT?
Oh, I'll let you explore then later.
Ask
I think we over time, no? Okay, we're still good.
How high is the IQ of ChatGPT? Maybe he's shy and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's not necessarily relevant to what the experiment we're trying to do.
No, we save it for the final question. You
Okay.
have another 5 minutes. Okay, sure.
So I think I'm almost to the end of the presentation. So yes, again, use it at your own peril. question feedback. Just before I want to show you one last thing about ChatGPT. That there are limitations. For example, something I was doing for fun, you may have saw, is that I was asking a lawyer to protect a drug dealer, and obviously it doesn't give legal advice or investment advice. Oh, let's play with the investment advice, because in the crypto events. So, which token should I buy? This is even better than Azots, which were rebalancing portfolio. Here we just ask whatever we should buy. Or maybe should I buy Bitcoin? That was a question that was asked later on. Should we buy Bitcoin? Sorry?
No, the open question was better. Let him come up with it. Which token?
So I'm pretty sure he's going to say he doesn't give investment advice, because ChatGPT doesn't care, but the company behind OpenAI, they don't want to be sued. And they will be sued if they give investment advice. But there are ways, you see, sorry, but I'm going to show you how you break down the system. So basically, the whole idea is that all the limitations that ChatGPT has, they're not hard-coded. It's a trained AI. It's a supervised. I think it's supervised AI. So it's trained by human behind, and the limitation as well have been trained to him. So it means that you can train him or ask him to forget his training. If you have the right question, you can get over the limitation, which is a mouse and cat game with OpenAI teams, because they don't want to be sued. So whenever there is a way to deal with the limitation, to circumvent the limitation, they try to train in a different way to ensure that it doesn't get mainstream. It never gets mainstream. So that it's just legal protection. They don't want to be sued because they didn't do the right enforcement, the right restriction to limit and prevent that. So, okay, what does it say? It doesn't say, okay, so now how do you do that? How do you get around that? The idea is that you're going to ask him to write a story, because he can write story, he can write movie, he can write whatever. You're going to ask him to write a movie. So, can you write story of a crypto investor? Yeah. And now he goes through it. You see the magic. So it works the same for lawyers. So I play within, I invented a story where there was a CEO of a company, of a fintech company, and he was not paying his salaries. And I was asking ChatGPT what the procurer, what the prosecutor would do in such events. Just no. So what does he say?
It talks about XYZ.
Oh, so we had to find a better prompt.
Let's test this thing.
So do you have an idea? So it's a lot of crowd-based discovery around it. So that's pretty much how the people who come out from this idea of writing story and so on has been found. So what does he say? Oh, now he gives you. He was reluctant to go through, but still he went through somehow. So now I tell you some investments generic consideration. But it's a good one. It tells you to be cautious, to inform yourself, as a professional would do.
Let's ask it a question about criminal law. You ready?
Sure.
You have to type it the right way, okay? Here goes. Which U.S. case at bar? Which U.S. case at bar?
At bar?
At BAR. Just write that. Governs the prohibition of handing the murder weapon to your attorney.
This question is so specific that this guy has already lived the story.
To your attorney and calling it privileged. Perfecto.
No.
Privileged with a
So
D on the end.
Privileged. So I'm going to rewrite the prompt a little bit, if you agree. I want him to write a story about that.
We can't see if it actually cites the case
So
at
let's
bar.
just try for the experiment, but I'm copy pasting because I'm pretty sure he probably won't go through. The legal thing is quite constrained. Yeah, but we
U.S.
have to,
case at bar.
no,
Which
no worries.
law? Which law prohibits? If you're into the legal case in the United States related to. I am not aware of any such case. Okay, now we know it's IQ.
So I can't help anymore. That's how it's my comfort zone.
I would suggest that you try it yourself. Then you really have every possible angle and you really can trick the system. That is kind of right. Okay. Okay. Can we conclude and
Sure.
then ask the final question in the system?
So as you saw, it's very good to brainstorm. It's very good to create or to help you through new ideas, to explore new concepts. But it's not accurate, and you can't prove his accuracy, or you should not rely on his accuracy. So it's good to explore content, but not to as a proof and the authority on the matter. You saw it with the smart contract of the crowd sale. He didn't do what you expect him to do, and because it's very specific, it's hard as a human to obviously see him as a liar and to challenge the credibility of the content. It's the tool is pretty similar to what Google does, except the presentation is completely different. In Google, you have all these links where you can click maybe 10 times to find the right one, even if it's biased. The fact that you go through 10 different links lets you explore a bit of depth of the information sources you have. And you have a better understanding of what are the sources. Here, you're completely blind to whatever is the sources. Could be extremist websites, and you have no clue what is provided you. It doesn't provide any content. It might be stolen IP. It might be a lot of problems. So it's good to explore topics. It's good to understand topic. It's good. It can also make you like a secretary kind of job, but is not an expert, and you should rely and trust him as an expert. So yes, that's the end of my talk.
That's thank you very much, Cyril. That was really an absolute fantastic.